Wow. I haven't been introduced so well since the day my introducer didn't show up and I had to do it myself. Thank you, Stephanie, and thank you for coming. I understand this is day 3. You're the diehards that have made it right to the end. Congratulations. And I will reward you with a dazzling presentation on a topic that will have a giant impact on your life. Are you ready? I want you to take great notes, or if you don't want to take great notes, memorize like crazy. Because one way or the other, I don't want you to wake up tomorrow morning and say, how do you get rich again? Because I'm going to reveal it right now. You ready? Now, I'm going to talk really fast. Why? Because I've got a lot of information for you, and I want you to truly get it. Are you ready? I also demand audience participation. That means I ask questions, you answer them. I tell jokes, you laugh. Are you ready to do that? Okay, good. Good, here we go. We're going to start off with the bad news. How much do you earn? I actually know how much you earn because I checked with Wikipedia, and I was horrified. The average income in the United Kingdom is £26,000. That's the average income. Maybe yours is a little higher. If yours is higher than that, there's some poor slog who earns less. And my thought is, at the end of the year, you've eaten £26,000. There's nothing left over, which means if there's nothing left over, lie on a beach for a year. I mean, if that's all you're going to earn, you got to do something different. You need to do something transformationally different. Otherwise, you're going to still be plugging along earning that. And what I want to do is make a real change for you. I want to get you in the top 1%. Put up your hand if you'd like to be in the top 1%. Well, that's nice, but you don't know what the top 1% is. But it's still a nice place to be. But I know what the top 1% is because Wikipedia told me, and here it is. To be in the top 1% in the United Kingdom is £200,000. Put up your hand if you'd like to be in that category. Now, there's a few hands not up, and I'm guessing that's because you're already in the £200,000 or more category. So if you want to be in the top 1% of the top 1%, then you have to earn £900,000. There's always a goal for you. Now, I want to do a little mindset readjustment on you. You're looking up at $200,000. Oh my God, how am I going to get there? And I want to tell you, I'm looking down on it and saying, how do you do it? How do you go to work every day, work really hard, and keep your income that low? How do you do that? Because I'm going to tell you something. There are individual days that I earn more than that. Individual days that I earn more than that, and lots of them. Well, how much do you earn, Smarty Pants? Well, I'm not going to tell you what I earn, but I will tell you the best I've ever done. The best I've ever done is $1 million in a speech. $1 million in a 90-minute speech. Put up your hand if you'd like to be able to do that. And here's the secret. It came because I write books in a very specific way. Different from how any of the other speakers here have been telling you. I'm not saying they're not doing anything right. I'm not saying that at all. Came out badly. I didn't mean that at all. No, I'm serious. I didn't mean that. What I mean is that I'm teaching you in a very unique way that other people don't talk about. And so I'm going to tell you about how to write a book so the sale of the book isn't the issue. All the other speakers teach you about how to sell a book so that the sale of the book is the issue. I'm going to tell it to you in a different way. I'm going to teach you how to write a book so that your word gets out, your fame gets out, your brand gets out, your reputation gets out transformationally. And what it helps is not the sale of the book, but the sale of you and the sale of your business so that you make more money, not the book makes more money for you. Do you understand the difference? Are you interested in that? Yeah, because if not, we could, end early for lunch. The number of people who have earned $1 million in a speech is less than the number of fingers you have on 2 hands, and I'm one of them. Bill Clinton gets $250,000 US. Sir Richard Branson gets $250,000 US. I'm one of 9 people in the world that's ever made $1 million in a speech. And I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm not saying you're going to earn that much, but I'm telling you it's because I write books in a certain way. So here's the problem. Right now, you're an undifferentiated nail in a bin. I'm not accusing you or attacking you or putting you down. What I'm simply doing is stating realities. Let me give you an example. Woman comes into a hardware store and says, I want to hang a picture. I need a 1-inch nail. Well, the merchant says, you're in luck, lady. There's an entire bin of 1-inch nails right beside you. And she looks at it and says, yes, but which one shall I pick? And the point is, you're like those nails. You think you're different because you know what your characteristics are. And your clients or your employer knows what your specific strengths and weaknesses are. But the general world has no idea about you. To the general world, you're an indistinguishable nail in the bin. If you're a dentist, then you're a dentist. If you're an estate agent, you're a estate agent. You're just a estate agent. No one knows how different you are. No one knows what you are. In fact, every time you use the death word you shoot yourself in the forehead from the branding point of view. And every single one of you does it every single day. Hi, what's your name? Mary, what do you do? I'm a estate agent. I'm a acupuncturist. I'm a hardware store owner. I'm a marketing agent. Whatever you are, you always say I'm and when you say that, you kill your individuality. You declare to the world, I'm an indifferentiable nail in the bin. Choose me, choose someone else, it'll hardly matter. That's what you're saying every time you say Now, you don't usually emphasize it that way. I do, because I want you to get the point. And I'm going to give you examples of clients of mine who've stopped doing it that way, and they have a book, and their income has skyrocketed. We're getting to that right now. Put up your hand if you've heard the expression, in a box. You're thinking in a box. Okay, good. So I need some feedback from you. What does it mean? Put up your hand. When I recognize you, yell it out. What does it mean to think inside the box? What does that mean? Yes?
Same as everybody else.
Same as everyone else. Pardon me? Fearful. Okay. Limiting yourself. Okay, good. What's yours? Conventional wisdom. Okay. Those are close, but here's the real definition. The box that you're in is not bad. The box that you're in, the definition of box, my definition is the sum total of everything you know. Your box is every single thing that you know. So that's not bad, because that means that Sir Richard Branson's in a box. He's just in a bigger box. The Pope's in a box, the Dalai Lama's in a box, the Queen's in a box. Everyone's in a box, because the only thing they know is the sum total of everything they know. But if you want to make more money, you need to have ideas that are outside of your box. They're inside somebody else's box, inside a bigger box, but they're outside your box. Do you understand that? So you need to get out of your box. The problem is that the rules for getting out of your box are written clearly on the outside of the box. I can see your rules, but you can't see your rules. I'm going to tell you your rules right here in this presentation. You excited about that? Okay, good. So we need some out-of-the-box thinking. There's two kinds of change, transactional and transformational. Transactional and transformational. Let me discuss them. Transactional change is where efficiency and productivity live, and the benefits to you are a 5 to 50% improvement. If you're an estate agent, you might make 50% more sales. If you're a car salesman, you might sell 50% more cars. If you're an employee, you might get a 50% raise. Oh, not in our industry. Yes. In your industry. I've been teaching since May of 1984. Yeah, May of 1983 or 4. May of 1983. Yes, May of 1983. This is my 29th year on stage. And for 29 years, people have been doubting that presentation until I teach them. And they say, oh, I get it. I'm going to show you how you can get 50% increase, but that's the bad news. That's the transactional news. That's not what I do. That's the easy stuff. What I do is the transformational change. The transformational change is way outside of the box, and the increases are 100% to 1,000%. 100% to 1,000%, and I'm not exaggerating. For 29 years, I've been teaching people just like you who don't believe it. For 29 years, I've been teaching you how to earn more money in a month than you earned all last year. Put up your hand if you want that to happen to you. It's way outside the box. It's transformational thinking, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So which one do you want? Transformational, good. Let's talk about a transformational estate agent. Client of mine. I took her on as a dare. I was in an audience, and some guy stood up, maybe he was drunk, and said, yeah, why don't you just take a random person from this audience and make that person rich? I said, okay. They were shocked. I said, okay, you choose. And so they had a little huddle, and they chose some gal who had just, this was in the United States. I'm a Canadian, British Commonwealth. I have the same queen as you. I spell words with O-U-R, not O-R. So, I don't know why this, okay, anyways. So this example says the word realtor. I know you call such people estate agents, but this is a U.S. example, so she is a realtor. And she was I don't want to say lousy realtor. Yeah, she was lousy. In 1 year since graduating from realtor school, she had sold 2 properties. Actually, she helped 2 people buy properties to live in. And they chose her because she had made $10,000, that's about 7,000 pounds, on each of 2 deals, so that's 14,000 pounds in a year. I mean, she was broke under the poverty line. I brought her up on stage and said, "This is your candidate?" Yeah, do her. Okay. Yeah. So I said to her, "Hi, what's your name?" She said, "Mary." "What do you do?" She says, realtor." Oh my God. Oh my God. And right on stage, I branded her. Right on stage, I said, "Don't you dare ever say that again." She said, "Well, I am a realtor." "Stop it!" I said, "You need to be branded. You need to be special." And the purpose of branding is to make you special even if you're not. It's to make you special even if you're not. If you're a city slicker and that you get taken out to a ranch and you look at 1,000 cows and the owner of the ranch says, can you tell them apart? See, he can tell them apart, but you're a city slicker. You don't know. You say, they all look the same to me. Then he takes an iron with a big A on it, and he gets it white hot, and he runs up and touches the bum of a cow, so there's a big A burned into the back of that cow, and then he says, "Now can you spot which cow is different?" Well, you can, because that cow is branded. That's right. So branding makes you different even if you're not. So I said to her, "What's your specialty?" She says, "Specialty? I'm lousy." I said, "Yes, but..." I didn't ask what you were good at. I said, what are you... Like, what, I mean, is there anything special? She says, "Yes, I help buyers," because the only 2 clients she's ever had were buyers, and they wanted to move into their own home. And I said, "Well, what is it that they asked for? What is it they liked about the house?" And she said, "Well, both of them said it was spacious. It was spacious. It was roomy." I said, "Oh, that's your brand." She says, "What is? What is?" I said, "From now on, here's what it sounds like. What's your name?" "Mary." "What do you do?" "I'm the realtor that gets you into a home larger than you thought you could afford." Now, here's what happened to her. She started putting that on her business card. She started putting that on her bench ads. She started putting that on all her literature. She started putting that on her website. And pretty soon, people were coming into her brokerage office asking for her. "Can I have Mary?" "Well, actually, George is the next one on rotation." "No, I want Mary." "Why?" "She's the one that's going to get me into a home larger than I think I can afford." "Yeah, but see, Mary has just started. But George, he's won all the awards year after year. He's a really, I can't take the chance." Do you get it? They can't take the chance on a good realtor because Mary is branded. And then here's what I tell her to do. "Hi, what's your name?" "Mary." "What do you do?" "I'm the realtor that gets you into a home larger than you thought you could afford." "No." "Really?" "Yeah." "Do you have a card?" "No." "You don't have a card?" "No, I have a book." "You have a book? What do you mean?" "I have a book." "Well, I only want a card." "I have a book." "What's your book?" Watch this. "What's your book?" "How to get into a home larger than you thought you could afford." And every time she does that, people say, "Oh my gosh, it's true." Do you get that? She says it, but then when that's the title of her book, they say, it's true. It's the same person saying it twice, but when she says it the second time and it's the title of a book, they got nowhere to go. They say, "Oh my gosh." And then she says, "Actually, I think I've got one in my briefcase. Here it is." And then they want her. So I'll tell you the story. People are coming in, so many people are coming in to use her services that she can't service them all. And so she gives the leads to other estate agents in the brokerage firm, but only to the best ones because she's got to keep up her brand. She's the lousy realtor. choosing to only give the leads to the good realtors. Under the condition, here's the humiliating part, under the condition that the good realtors have to tell the clients that they're using Mary's method. Mary doesn't have a method. They're the good realtors, they have a method. But if they don't say they're using Mary's method, the clients don't want that person. I know it's funny, but put up your hand if you're getting it. So last year, I'll have to convert to US dollars because that's what I know it in. Last year, this is a recent example. This is occurring right now. Last year, Mary earned two $10,000 commission checks. That's $20,000. And by January 2013, she'll be earning $500,000 a year. $500,000 a year. And I took her on as a dare where people in the audience chose the flakiest goof from the audience. They said, yeah, do that one. On stage, right in front of us. And that's what I did. $20,000 to $500,000 in a year and a half. That's exciting. That's exciting. That's what I do for people. Put up your hand if you would like me to do that for you. Okay, let me tell you how I did it for myself. Put up your hand if you'd like me to tell you how I earned 5,000 pounds in 1 minute against my will. Yeah, against my will. Against my will, okay. So I'm in an airplane, I'm sitting there in business class. Not only am I in business class, but the seat beside me is empty. I'm really happy, I can kind of spread out. Just before they shut the door, somebody squeezes in, and sure enough sits right down beside me. Okay, fine. He says, hi, what's your name? Raymond. What do you do? I help you double your income doing what you love. You see, what you would say is, I'm author, I'm professional speaker. So, hi, what's your name? Raymond. What do you do? I help you double your income doing what you love. Really? Do you have a card? No. You don't have a card? No, I have a book. What do you mean you have a book? I just want a card. I don't have a card. You have a book? Yeah, I have a book. What's the book called? Double Your Income. Double your income doing what you love. Guy says, no kidding. Yeah. Raymond Aaron. Now, I said that out of rote. I mean, that's the habit that I'm in. That's what I teach people to do. But I didn't want any business. On the first day and the 15th day of every month, Air Canada changes their movies. And I'm the highest level of frequent flyer Air Canada recognizes. And so by the second or third day of each month, I've seen all the movies. So I have to kind of lurch forward to the 15th to get the next batch of movies. And so this was the 15th of the month, and I was eager to see the new movies. And I was on a long flight from Toronto to San Francisco. It was 5 hours, and I wanted to see 2 movies. So, hi, what's your name? Raymond. What do you do? I help you double your income doing what you love. Oh, wow, do you have a card? No. I have a book. What's your book? Double your income doing what I think I have one. Oh, I have one right here, yes. He looks, oh my gosh. And I said, well, can I autograph it for you? Oh, yes. So what's your wife's name? Fine, thank you. And I figured, thank God, I want to watch the darn movie. So he says, do me. What? He says, do me. He said, we got 5 hours. So I'm trying to watch the movie. I don't want this guy. I was looking forward to an empty seat. And I said, I charge. I figured that'll do it, right? He says, do you take American Express? I said, I'm on an airplane. I'm sitting on an airplane. They've already shut the door. So he takes out a piece of paper. He takes out his credit card. He writes his American Express number down and his expiry date. He writes $5,000. It's $5,000. $5,000, and he signs his name, and he hands me the slip of paper. He says, how much do I get for that? And I figured, this is my last chance to stop him. I just want to watch the movie. I said, you get an hour for that. He said, okay. So I taught him for an hour, and before the hour was finished, he says, I've had enough. I can't take any more. This is so much value, I can't believe it. Thank you very much. I said, there's a good movie on. Let's. So that's what I do. That's what I do. That's how I change people. You like that story? Okay, so the conclusion is giant increases in your income are possible, they're transformational, they're available, and they are soon. Is that exciting to you? Okay, good. You might think that life is unfair because when you try to make changes transactionally, you don't seem to get anywhere. You might have a job that you don't like. I want to take you from where you are into a wildly different place. But to do that, you must climb the ladder of wealth. And there are 5 rungs to the ladder of wealth. The problem is that you want to get richer, but you don't know the template. And so you just kind of go, you kind of fritter around trying to figure out what to do. I'm going to tell you the template. This is exactly the steps that I put you through in my program. So the first step is visibility. In order to get rich, you first must be visible. They have to know of you before they can buy you or hire you. Does that make sense to you? Once you're visible, they have to like you. If you're visible and they don't like you, that's not going to help. So they have to know you and like you, know you and respect you, know of you and be impressed by you. And if lots of people know you, and all the people who know you love you and respect you, wealth comes in, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. You can't stop the money coming in. That's what you need. How many rungs did I promise? How many did I deliver? 2, 3. Should we have a vote? We'll try it again. How many did I deliver? Okay. For this group, I will always give you the answer right before the question. It should help not only with accuracy, but also self-esteem. The answer is 3. We'll try it one last time. How many rungs have I delivered? 3. How many did I promise? So my brand is in jeopardy unless I can come up with 2 more. And the other 2 are in the dark side. The first one going the wrong way is invisibility. What I have found is that 97% of Brits are completely invisible. 97% of British entrepreneurs, 97% of British investors, and 97% or more of British employees are completely invisible. When the average employee leaves his or her job, or gets fired, or gets downsized, or merged out, or whatever, is it easy or hard to replace the average employee? Easy. That's why your income's low. If you're easy to replace, why would they bother paying you much? If you're easy to replace, who cares? If you're easy to replace, then get out of here. We'll get somebody else. I'm not insulting you. I'm just telling you, from the employer's point of view, you're viewed as an indistinguishable nail in the bin. When I graduated from the University of Toronto as a physicist, I went back to the dean of math, and I said to him, I think you do a lousy job teaching math. He says, yeah, I think that way myself sometimes. And I said, I can do it better. He said, you're just a 21-year-old kid. I said, yeah, but I graduated as a physicist, mathematician, computer scientist. I know some stuff. He said, yeah, well, show me your stuff. I showed him a manuscript. He sat there for 3 hours. At the end of the 3 hours, he looked up and he said, this book, it was a calculus textbook. I wrote a calculus textbook when I was 21. I know it's hard to believe. I have trouble believing it. I wrote a calculus textbook when I was 21. He looked up at me and said, this book is now compulsory at the University of Toronto for every freshman calculus student entering next year. I made some money selling my calculus textbook, of course, but here's where the real money came from. When I went back and told my boss, I was working for KPMG, the largest accounting firm in the world. I was on their consulting side. I came back and I said to my boss, by the way, I wrote a book and it's compulsory at the university. He said, are you kidding? No, I wrote a book, it's compulsory. When did you write a book? Evenings and weekends, I've been writing a book. He said, no kidding, I'm giving you a $5,000 raise. And I said, why? Like this, I didn't know anything, I was just a little kid. I said, why? He said, well, he wrote a book. I said, yes, but it's a calculus book. None of KPMG's clients want calculus. I said, it doesn't make any sense. It's not related. He said, well, maybe that's why your raise is only $5,000. But that's what I've noticed. That's what I've noticed. I'll give you an example. One of my own clients. She is in the marketing department of a big company, And she's in the class just like you, and she's, oh my gosh, I don't want to be an indistinguishable nail in the bin. So she goes, signs up for my course, and she writes a book on marketing. Correction, she's writing a book on marketing. She still hasn't finished it. She's writing a book on marketing. This example is like 7 days old. It just happened. And Phyllis calls me one day. She says, you won't believe what happened to me. I said, oh, what happened? She says, I got a phone call at 10 a.m. one morning. Hello, Phyllis. Yes, are you Phyllis? Yes. Are you the Phyllis who's in the marketing department who's writing a book on marketing? Yeah. How do you know? Well, I don't know. This person told me, and she must be a friend of a friend or something because they told me, they gave me your name. She says, yes, I'm writing a book on marketing. Not out. No one's ever seen it. And they said, it's 10 o'clock. Meet me at noon at this restaurant. We'll shake hands. Tell me whatever your salary is, add $20,000 to it, and start tomorrow morning working for a competitor. $20,000 a year. They haven't seen her book. They don't know if it's a good book. They just know she's writing on marketing. Now imagine, let's say you are the president of a company and you've decided you want to have a vice president of marketing, and you hire a recruiting firm to help you get some candidates. And the recruiter says, look, I've got 10 candidates, and they've all got about 10 years experience, just like you wanted, and they're all around the same income at the moment, but one of them wrote a book on it. Can you feel that? Put up your hand if you can actually feel it. One of them wrote a book on it. Then the reaction is typically, well, let's just interview her. Or let's interview only her. Or let's offer her a job right now. Or let's offer her more to make sure we can get her. They have no idea if she's any good. They don't know if the book is any good. But she wrote a book. Even worse, she's writing a book. You see, if you write a cookbook or poetry book or something that has nothing to do with your profession, well, that's nice. You get a bit of ego for it. But when you write a book that ups your brand, your income skyrockets. Not from the sale of the book. Put up your hand if you like that idea. Yeah. Now, any sale of the book is gravy. And then the next one below invisibility is instability. And instability is bankruptcy, divorce, affairs, drug abuse, all kinds of crap. Those are the 5 levels. All you have to do is figure out what level you're at and go up to the next one. You figure out what level I'm at and go up to the next one. 97% of Brits are at invisibility. Now, you might have smatterings of yourself at different levels, but where is the majority of yourself? I'm guessing it's at invisibility. Let's have an unpleasant poll right now. Put up your hand if you think you're at invisibility. That's always what happens, but only for the last 29 years. So, if you're at invisibility, then you've got to go up to visibility. You always have to take one step at a time. I don't want you to be in that 97% any longer. So you take one step at a time. You want to be at the top, and so you can go from invisibility to visibility, from visibility to credibility, and you just keep going up one step at a time, just like a ladder. You can only take one step at a time. If you try to take 2 or 3 steps at a time, you'll fall over. It's impossible. But there is a thing that allows you to take a double step. There's only one thing that allows you to take a double step, and it's not just any double step from anywhere. It's the double step that takes you from invisibility to wealth. The only double step that's available, and what it is writing a book. When you write a book, you go immediately from invisibility to wealth. But not any old book. Because from the poll that Stephanie took earlier in this workshop, what she found is that half the number of people in this room have written a book. But for most of you, the book didn't do anything. It's sitting in your garage, except for the few you sold to your mother. And so if you wrote a book, but you didn't double step to wealth, then you wrote a book, but it wasn't the book that was intended. It wasn't the book that's inside of you that creates wealth. It was just a book you thought of writing. I'm going to teach you how to write a book that increases your wealth. Put up your hand if that's exciting to you. Good. Okay. So when you have a book, the right book, it means that you can indeed aim higher. Yeah, I was told not to show that because you're British, but I thought I could hope I can trust you with that. So, here's an ugly statistic. Half the population in England divvies up less than 1% of all the financial assets in the entire country. Half the population has to be content with divvying up less than 1% of all the financial assets. Take a guess, the top half or the bottom half? Why are you mumbling? Before you used to yell your answers out. I'll give you the answer, the bottom half. So take a guess, is it the top half or the bottom half? The bottom half. Well, you're mumbling because you were embarrassed? The beginning, you're British, oh goodness. All right, so get out of the bottom half, get into the top 1%. And let me give you a huge insight. Becoming an author the right way is the way to do it. So I'm going to show you an example in my own life. I'm going to give you the autobiography of my own life and show you what happened to me. You ready for this? Okay, good. When I was born, I was broke. Maybe some of you have had that same experience. And then I got a job I didn't particularly like because I didn't know you're supposed to love your job. And then I got fat because I didn't love my job, and so I took it out on food. And then I got fired because I wasn't doing a very good job at my job. So I went home and I said to my wife, I'm fat, I'm sick, I'm in debt, I just got fired. And she said to me, what's your plan? I told her I didn't have one. And she did the only thing a reasonable woman could do. She kicked me out. And I was standing on the sidewalk in front of the home that I thought I owned. I mean, I thought I owned it, but I found out from her lawyer shortly afterwards I didn't own that home. And I was 39 years old, I was a life loser, and I did the only thing that 39-year-old life losers know how to do well. I called my mother. Really. And if she hadn't let me back into the room that I grew up in, I'd be homeless. 39 years old, homeless. I was worse than anyone in this room, and I haven't told you the bad news yet. I was $100,000 in debt. That's about 70,000 British pounds in debt, completely, 60,000 maybe, I'm not exactly sure. 60,000, I was depressed, I was a loser, I had nowhere to go, and even worse, I wasn't making my child support payments. Not because I was trying to be a deadbeat father, but I had nothing, I had no income. And I was buried under debt, and I was completely depressed. I couldn't work. I was 39 years old living with my mother. It was the most embarrassing part of my life. Anyways, what happened to me? I bumped into a guy on a park bench. That's all I could afford was sitting on a park bench. And he told me he was a coach. I said, so go help people with basketball. What do I care? And he says, no, I coach people to have a better life. I said, yeah, well, you can't help me. He said, why? I said, well, I'm depressed. I'm 60,000 British pounds in debt. I don't have a job. I can't even pay my child support. I'm embarrassed to see my own daughter because I can't afford her. I'm failing in every aspect of my life, and I'm fat, and I don't even have the courage to commit suicide. So I'm just kind of limping along. It's a horrible existence. And he said, I'll take you on. I said, what do you mean you'll take me on? He said, I'll take you on. And he says, and by the way, that's a big thing because I take on very few clients. I said, well, why me then? He said, because when I turn you around, I'm going to have the best testimonial that anyone ever had. I said, yeah, go for it, guy, live it up. And I borrowed the money from my mother, having no options, and I joined his program. Most amazing change of my life. He said, everything that you know makes sense to you. I said, yeah, so? And therefore, what you do makes sense. I said, yeah. And therefore, everything that makes sense to you is wrong. I said, what do you mean? He said, well, look, you're fat, you're broke, you're unemployed, you can't make child support payments, you're in debt. Everything you're doing is wrong. Everything that makes sense to you is wrong. I said, well, that's a fine way to start our relationship. And he said to me exactly what I'm saying to you. I'm not insulting you. I'm just saying, look at the reality. If you're producing crap, that means the ideas that you have that make sense to you produce crap. So what makes sense to you is wrong. I said, all right, what do I do with that? He said, well, there are ideas that are right. I said, well, why don't I use those? And he said, you can't. Why not? Because they're outside your box. The ideas in your box make sense to you, and you use them, and you go the wrong direction. So he says, we need to get you outside of your box. I said, all right, fine. He said, so I'm going to give you an instruction that comes from outside your box. And I said, how do I know it's outside my box? And he said, because it won't make sense to you. And I said, well, then why should I do it? And he said, because everything that does make sense to you doesn't work. I said, all right, okay, I'll do it. He says, yeah, well, we'll see. And he says, the first impression, the first reaction you're going to have when I tell you what to do is, that doesn't make sense. I said, okay, I won't say that. Okay, go ahead. And he says, okay, Raymond, write a book. I said, are you nuts? That's exactly what I said to him. He said, you promised me you wouldn't say that. I said, yeah, but that doesn't make sense. He said, I told you it wouldn't make sense. I said to him, that doesn't make sense. Everything I know is wrong. What will I write a book on? How to be a loser at age 39? Should I write a book on how to get into debt? The 7 guaranteed steps to failure? Like, what? That's the subtitle, right? I said, it doesn't make sense. He said, I told you that. I said, but I'm too depressed to read a book. He said, yeah, those are all the reasons why it doesn't make sense. Do you want to do it or not? He coached me how to write a book. Now, the funny thing is, while I was working, I was buying real estate, and I had made a great deal of money in real estate in the past. So I knew how to make money in real estate, but I was too depressed to make any money at the moment, and I didn't have any cash for down payments. Anyways, he told me how to get visibility and credibility. And the way to do it was to write a book, and there's the book. There's the book. It's the stupidest book I ever wrote. First of all, I live in Canada. It's about 30 miles from the largest, most prosperous country in the entire world, and I forgot about it. I said, let's just focus on the Canadian market. Why? I'm closer to the United States than to Canada in Toronto, and yet I said, oh, let's just do Canadian real estate. That was stupid. Then he told me to put a quote on the cover. I didn't know anyone who liked me. Nobody. Security and happiness can be yours if you apply my principles for real estate success. Who did I quote from? Myself! I didn't know a single person, didn't have a single testimonial. I had to quote myself. Look at the picture. Is that a portrait or just a snapshot? It's just a snapshot. I didn't even have my tie on correctly. I don't know if you can see it. The Canadian flag, I didn't even color inside the lines. And this, maybe I have to explain it to you, these are houses. People think it's a badly done fence. It's the stupidest cover. You know how they say people judge a book by its cover? You start judging that book, you say, that's a creepy book. But let me tell you something. As depressed as I was, as little as I knew about life, as ridiculous as that cover was, let me tell you what happened. From age 39 to age 40, I was out of $60,000 of debt, the first time in my adult life that I was not in debt, and in the next year, from age 40 to age 41, I was a millionaire for the first time in my life because of that book. Because that book helped my career. And I took that book and I repurposed it. Get that down. I repurposed it into a workshop. I repurposed it into well, it wasn't a DVD back then, it was a VHS. And I repurposed it into audio tapes. I just kept repurposing the same content. And people kept buying it from me in all kinds of different ways. 1 year I was out of debt for the first time in my life. Another year I was a millionaire for the first time in my life. That's the power of the correct kind of book. Is that exciting to you? And I started from worse than where you are. So come into my life now. I've earned the right to tell you about my life now because I told you where I came from. Right now, authors want to be with me. I don't mean some guy who's written a book. I mean big shots. Because a big shot doesn't want to talk to you. When they walk down the street, 40 people stop them. Oh, you're Sir Richard Branson. You're the rebel billionaire. Oh, my God, I love you. Well, you know, if 14 times a block you hear the same thing, it gets a bit tiresome. Now, you might be all excited because you've never seen Sir Richard Branson on the sidewalk, but he gets seen all the time. And so he has to decide who he's going to talk to and who he's just kind of desperately flee from. And the way they decide is whether or not you've written a book. If you haven't written a book, you're a nobody. If you have written a book, at least there's a potential that you're a somebody. And so authors, famous authors know me. Marcy Shimoff, who wrote every single chicken soup for the woman's, like woman's or mother's or daughter's soul, all the woman's books. She wrote every one of them. She also wrote Happy for No Reason. And when that was a wild success, they gave her a $1.5 million advance on Love for No Reason. She is the 5th most successful woman nonfiction author of all time. Of all time. And I go on vacation with her twice a year because we just have such a great relationship. She wouldn't have any interest in me if I wasn't an author. Bob Proctor, the grandfather of the entire personal growth industry, were dear friends. Stedman Graham, you know Stedman Graham, the Oprah's boyfriend? Right? There he is with his new pet. Brian Tracy, George Ross, Donald Trump's right-hand man, Donald Trump himself, Rudy Giuliani, the world's mayor, the mayor of New York at the time of 9/11, Robert Kiyosaki, Brian Mulroney, Prime Minister of Canada, for gosh sakes, Sir Richard Branson. I was backstage with him at the O2 Center a couple months ago at that huge conference. Put up your hand if you were at that conference. Yeah, and he told me great stories backstage. And by the way, there was a survey done of the 40,000 people who attended that event, Business 2012, in March. And they asked who the favorite speakers were. And Branson and I were tied as the 2 most favorite speakers. Why? Why? It's not what you know. It's not who you know. Here's the killer. It's who knows you. Like, don't you dare get a picture beside somebody famous and pretend that they know you. They don't know you. Right? So Richard Branson, if he gets a picture with you, doesn't rush home and say to his spouse, guess who I got a picture with today? Right? They don't know you. They don't care about you. But if you've written a book, you have some cachet. You have some gravitas. You're a little higher than you were before. And there's a huge benefit to know such famous people. And they'll know you if you've written a book. If you haven't written a book, they don't care about you. They have to have some method of deciding because thousands of people, millions of people want to know them. They don't have the time to get to know everybody. So here's your big insight. When I get to the last word of the sentence, you need to scream it out. Are you ready for this? If you're important, you've written a book. So if you've written a book, you must be important. And that's the most important thing I've come here to tell you. Every single person who's important has written a book. So if you've written a book, they'll know you're important. And that means you get the sale. That means you get the job. If there's 10 other people applying and you've written a book, you get the job. If there's 10 people working for the company and you've written a book and one of them gets a raise, you get the raise. If you're an entrepreneur and you've written a book and they're amazed that you've written a book because it's on the topic that they're interested in, you get their business. That's the powerful thing. And I'm going to tell you something else just as powerful. I don't have it written down. You'll just have to write it down yourself. And that's this. If you tell someone you're an expert, they'll doubt you. If you tell someone you're an expert, they'll doubt you. I'll give you an example. I'm the top estate agent in London. How do you know? How do I know? What do you mean you're the top? In what? In number of sales and dollar amount? And what do you mean? You see, if someone says they're the best, you'll doubt them. But if they've written a book, you'll know they're the best. That's the shocking thing. They don't have to be. You'll just know it. If you tell someone you're an expert, they'll doubt you. If you tell that person you've written a book, they'll know you're the expert. It's amazing. There's something magical about the right kind of book. If an estate agent has written a cookbook, it's stupid. If an acupuncturist has written a poetry book, who cares? But when Lance Armstrong wrote the book, It's Not About the Bike, people say, oh, yeah. It's about determination. It's about overcoming cancer. Oh, yeah. His speaker fee went from $20,000 to $100,000. You might say, oh, it's because of his races. It's because of the Tour de France. It's because of the Tour de France and his book. I've got gigantic credentials. But usually when I'm introduced on stage, they don't mention any of the others. I know, interestingly, that Stephanie did, but usually that doesn't happen. Usually they never say he was one of the 40 teachers in the entire world chosen to be filmed for the blockbuster hit movie The Secret. Usually they don't say he's one of the very few people in the entire world who has ever stood at the North Pole, having gotten there under his own steam. Yeah, go ahead. I'm 67 years old now. You don't look it, I know. And at age 62, I entered and completed a 350-mile, month-long foot race to the North Pole, hauling a sled that weighed 100 pounds. It's about 45 kilo, I think. Dodging polar bears. Average temperature minus 40 degrees. Worst temperature I hit minus 68 degrees. Nobody cares. In the Canadian Who's Who every year for 20 years for helping more people around the world become millionaires. Nobody cares. I produced 400 DVDs and 800 audio CDs. Nobody cares. I've been on 1,000 radio and television talk shows. Nobody cares. What's the name of your book? That's all anybody cares about. Here he is, Raymond, New York Times top 10 best-selling author, as if the only thing I did in my life was write one book. That's all they care about. I got a phone call recently, and I grabbed it before my receptionist just for fun, just to see what's going on in my own business. Hello, I'm interested in having Raymond be on my television talk show. And I said, oh, it's Raymond. I'd love to. What's the date? Great, I'll do it. And they said, I'm just the producer, and the host just wants to know a couple questions. I said, yeah, let me guess what it is. And they said, what's the name of your book? And I said, I've helped more people become millionaires than any other person alive. Wow. What's the name of your book? I've done 400 DVDs. You don't have a book? Yes, I have 7 books. That's all they care about. That's all they want to know. If that's all they want, give it to them. Do you understand? I trained for between 1 hour and 10 hours a day for 2 years from age 60 to 62. 10 hours a day to be in shape for polar race. Nobody cares. What's the name of your book? You do, thanks. You have a book inside of you. It's time to get it out. Now some of you are saying, well, I wrote a book. Yeah, well, if you are rich because of it, you did it the right way. But I'm going to teach you how to be rich because of a book. Now, there's a scandal that I don't like, and it's called the forward scam, where very famous people, I don't want to mention names like Donald Trump, will charge you $50,000, 50,000 pounds to write the forward for your book. Why? Because if you say, I wrote a book on real estate and Donald Trump wrote the forward, wow! People will buy your book or give you great credibility because the famous person has written the forward. And then you make more money, but the person who wrote the forward doesn't share in it. And so what they're doing is demanding a giant fee. Don't do that. Do not pay for a forward. It's scummy. Even though it'll work, it's scummy. It's underhanded. Don't do it. Okay, here's the important thing I want to teach you. Every wealthy person and every wealthy company is branded, and you're not. And the reason they're wealthy is because they're branded. And I'm going to teach you in the next couple of minutes about that concept. The iPad was the #1 most successful first-day launch of any product in all of history. The most successful first-day launch of any product in all of history. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. I want every person in the room to scream out the answer. If another company with a brand not as good as Apple, but still a good brand, like, let's say, General Electric, if General Electric had released the iPad 1 year before Apple, would it have sold as well, yes or no? No! The same product! Exactly the same product would not have sold as well if it didn't have as good a brand. Let me ask you another question. Should Heinz ketchup manufacture automobiles? Yes or no? No, but if they did, what color should it be? Branding made you say that. Branding made you say that. Also, you'd want that car to go very slowly. It's another reason probably they shouldn't. How about this one? You'll love this, my favorite. My favorite. What sound does it make when you pour milk into Rice Krispies? Snap, crackle, and pop. No, it doesn't! If you have a human ear, I don't know what kind of ear you have. If you have a human ear, and you actually pour milk into Rice Krispies, it crinkles. It just goes. It doesn't snap, crackle, and pop. It never has. In fact, if I had said to you, it goes snap, pop, and crackle, you'd correct me. Even though it doesn't do either one. That's the power of branding. When you're branded, you make money. When you're not branded, you're an indistinguishable nail in the bin. You need to be branded. There are 4 ways. I'm going to teach it to you right now. 4 ways. Get these down. The 4th way is by association. And I showed you the people I was associated with. Put up your hand when I recognize you. Tell me what you actually thought about me when you saw me chummy with those world-famous people. Put up your hand and tell me. Yes? Successful. Great. Yeah, don't slow down. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am, sorry. I'm connected. Connected. Highly competent. Yeah, you can give me some more if you'd like. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, those are all wonderful. Okay. Now, you may not know such famous people, so you don't get branded by association. However, when you've written a successful book, those people will like you. Okay, well, don't worry about that. There's still 3 ways to go. So, number 3 is branding by testimonial. So let's talk about that. Put up your hand if it's ever happened that people have gushed all over you. Oh my God, thank you so much, thank you. Oh my God, you've saved my life, you saved so much, oh my God. Put up your hand if that's ever happened to you. Listen carefully, you're not going to like the next comment. No, it hasn't. Yeah, it has. No, it hasn't. And the reason is you let it just evaporate into the ether. It just went away. But people like Pamela and Dexter Montgomery have written about me all over their blog and all over their book. Why? Because of the transformational change I made in their life. When I met them, they had been realtors in Northern Virginia for 25 years, earning $150 US a year. So that's about 100,000 pounds. And they wanted to break through that because they were making exactly the same amount of money for 25 years. And I said, well, okay, let's brand you. They said, okay, what's that mean? 25 years, they have no idea. They're indistinguishable nails in the bin. So I said, what kind of real estate do you do? They said, we help people buy investment real estate. Typically residential, but investment real estate. They're not going to live there. They don't care where it's located. They don't care how many garages it has. Because if there's no garages, we'll find a tenant with no car. Like, they don't care. They just want to make money. I said, okay, fine. So you need to write a book. They said, write a book? There's an interesting concept. And I taught them how to write a book. Their income has skyrocketed. Here's what it sounds like before. Hi, what's your name? Pamela. What do you do? I'm a realtor. Okay, I need a beer, thanks, goodbye. Like, it's boring. Here's what it sounds like now. Hi, what's your name? Pamela. What do you do? I'm the realtor who's written the book on investing. What? I wrote the book on investing. You did? Yeah, I wrote the book on investing. You mean Sir Richard Branson didn't write that book? No, I wrote that book. Warren Buffett didn't write that book? No, I wrote that book. You wrote the book on investing? Yeah. What's it called? The Book on Investing. It's actually called The Book on Investing. Do you get the impact that has on people? Like, The book on investing? You wrote the book on investing? Yeah, I wrote the book on investing. Now, put up your hand if you think that maybe you don't have enough knowledge or wisdom to write such a book. Hey, so let me tell you what your hand vote just showed. It means that you know that authors know a lot. Think about that. If you think you don't know enough to write a book, it means that you know in your heart that authors know a lot. So as soon as you've written a book, everyone will know that you know a lot. Do you get that? Isn't that an amazing turnaround? If she called her book, I Think These Are Good Ideas, nobody would be impressed. She called the book on investing. People, you wrote the book on investing? What's it called? The book on investing. And she's got the website. Guess what the website is? thebookoninvesting.com. People are dazzled. They're just dazzled by her. Their income has skyrocketed. And they talk about me, and they write about me, and they talk about me in their book. It doesn't just go away. How about this? Put up your hand if you've heard of Robert Kiyosaki, the #1 most successful wealth teacher of all time. I know you know his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but what I like best is his second book, Cash Flow Quadrant. Put up your hand if you've heard of his second book. I love that book even better. Here's what Robert Kiyosaki says about me. I thank Raymond Aaron and his tapes on goal setting for helping me achieve more with less stress. Robert Kiyosaki said that? Yeah. How do we know he said that? Because he wrote it on page 187 of his second book. I happen to have a copy of it here. And I need a volunteer, please, someone who can read English.
I can read English.
What's your name, sir? Arjuna, come on up.
Yeah.
Hi, Arjuna.
Hi, Raymond.
Oof, never had such eagerness. I'm excited. Okay, so what is the title of the book?
Cash Flow Quadrant.
Well done. Who wrote it?
Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes, very good. And let me open up the book randomly. What page is that?
187.
Absolutely. And, oh, there's an underlined sentence. What does it say?
I thank Raymond Aaron and his tape on goal setting for assisting me in achieving more with a lot less stress.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arjuna. Thank you. Why did I make £1 million within a few months after that came out? Not because Kiyosaki was actually my client, which he is. Not because I've helped Kiyosaki a lot, which I have. But because I was in his book. That's the only reason. That book came out 5 years ago. Every day, my phone still rings. Every single day. Hello, did I get the right phone number? I don't know, who do you want to call? Is this Raymond Aaron? Yes, it's the Raymond Aaron group. Is this the Raymond Aaron who was in Kiyosaki's book? Is he the guy that raced to the North Pole? Is he the guy that was in The Secret? Is that nothing? I was in Kiyosaki's book. That's all they know about me. And they say, oh my God, I got the right number. It's amazing. He was in Kiyosaki's book. Yeah, we know. And, well, they don't even know why they're calling. They're just so excited. And so they say, here's what they often say, can I buy something? Would you like to have people calling you every day saying, can I just buy something? Do you get that? They just want to buy something because he was in Kiyosaki's book. They're just so starstruck. Oh, where do you live? Oh, London? Well, actually, Mr. Ern is going to be in London next Tuesday or next Saturday or the end of this month or wherever. Why don't you come and see him in person? See him in person! Oh, my God! What? I'm just a human. Why are they so starstruck they're going to see me in person? Because I was in a book. If I called someone randomly and said, hi, my name is Raymond, I'm going to be in your city, they'd say, so what? So who cares? Who the heck are you? But if I'm in Kiyosaki's book, or if I've written a book, oh. Now, Arjuna did a good job reading the underlined sentence. You might think that my book is the only book in which that sentence is underlined. However, every time I go into a bookstore, every time, man, I find that book, I underline that sentence. Absolutely. Yeah, it's under the concept of use what you got. So you might not have great testimonials. That's okay. We still got 2 ways left. So the second way is branding by achievement. Branding by achievement. You know I was in the Who's Who every year for the last 25 years, actually. And I'm also an internationally syndicated radio host in many cities around North America. And I was one of the 40 teachers filmed for the movie The Secret. But you may not have great achievements. And I've got lots of other achievements. I'm one of the 200 people that has ever raced the North Pole. By the way, 160 people have crossed the Atlantic Ocean by rowboat. 400 people have been to outer space. 2,000 climbers have conquered Everest. 5,000 runners have broken the 4-minute mile. But in all of history, less than 200 people have ever reached the North Pole by foot, and I'm one of them. I'm one of them. It's a gigantic success. Nobody seems to care. I ride a 5-foot-tall giraffe unicycle. I've run 3 marathons. I've run a 100-kilometer ultra-marathon. I've got lots and lots of credentials. I've run over 110 Ks. There's lots and lots of credentials, but the only thing anyone cares about, Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 bestseller. That's all they care about. So you may not have great achievements. That's okay. There's one left. Maybe you qualify. And that is branding by wow. When you wow somebody, they'll never, ever forget you. When you wow somebody, they will never, ever, ever forget you. And the easiest way to wow somebody is by having a book. I mean, every time I do it, every time. Do you have a card? No. You don't have a card? No. I have a book. What? It blows them away every time. It's like this. Put up your hand if you've ever seen Groundhog Day. You know the movie where the guy repeats the day, right? Every time. Oh, do you have a card? No, I have a book. What? Like, do you have a card? No. You don't have a card? No, I have a book. You have a book? Like, it's like over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, so you experience the wow of being an author. I've already told you about the dreaded credit card experience. So I've told you that many times. So you have a book inside of you. It's way past time to get it out. You would have never heard of my friend Jack Canfield if he hadn't have written a book. I go on vacation with Jack Canfield twice a year. Jack Canfield, one of the most famous people in the world. Yesterday, Mark Victor Hansen phoned me twice, left me voicemail message. He wants to talk to me. I don't even know about what. Robert Kiyosaki is a good friend of mine, but you think he's clever? His wife, Kim Kiyosaki, is actually the genius of their union. She is brilliant. I've interviewed her twice, interviewed him once. She's brilliant. But you wouldn't know them unless they'd written a book. Tim Ferriss could hardly get a job. And then he wrote some stupid book called 30 Productivity Enhancements. And a major publishing firm liked the content but thought his title was stupid. So they changed it to the 4-Hour Work Week. And now he's a multi-deca millionaire, and his speaker fee is $100,000, and he couldn't get a job. Wrote a book with a great title, bang, he's successful. Took me 4 years to write Chicken Soup for the Parent Soul. Took me 4 years to write Chicken Soup for the Canadian Soul, which was important for 3 reasons. It was the first national chicken soup book ever attempted. Number 2, it was the #1 most successful nonfiction book in Canada every week for 6 months after it was released. And number 3, it's the first time that Americans found out that Canadians had a soul. It's a very, very important book. Took me 1 year to write Double Your Income, Doing What You Love. Took me 1 year to write the Monthly Mentor Goal Handbook, which has been credited as being the #1 most powerful book ever released on teaching people how to write goals that achieve themselves. People were blown. Actually, I call it automagically. How to have your goals achieve themselves automagically. I want you to finish this sentence. I wrote a book. I got rich. You want rich? Write a book. Like, are you connecting the dots yet? Like, it's the same. It's the same theme, but I just, if I've flown across the ocean to be here, I need more than 1 minute with you. Can you tell I love giving speeches more than anything I do in my whole life? Yeah, good. So, I don't want you to write a book in 1 to 4 years. Because if you write a book my way, even if it takes you 4 years, your income will skyrocket, but who the heck wants to wait 4 years? In fact, even 6 months would be very exciting, and I think anybody in the world can wait 6 months if you know your income's going to skyrocket, but I don't want that to happen to you. I'm going to announce something here today which is going to completely blow you away. Your jaw will disconnect and fall to the carpet. You go, when you hear this. This is the biggest breakthrough I have ever made in 29 years of being on stage, in 29 years of helping people get rich. And here it is. I'm going to teach you how to write a book in 10 hours. In 10 hours. No one on earth has cracked that code. No one on earth has cracked that code. In 10 hours. And 10 hours isn't just writing the book. 10 hours is working with me one-on-one. Me, one-on-one. Yeah, in a big teleconference with 1,000 other people on the line. No, one-on-one. You're the only person. Only. You, me. Your mouth speaks to my ear. Then my mouth speaks to your ear. There's no other ears listening. One-on-one. The 10 hours includes I work with you to choose a perfect topic and a perfect title. And it includes designing all the chapters, getting all the bullets within each chapter for a book that's the one that's going to up your career and brand you. It includes getting a graphic artist to design a cover for you, which that alone typically takes several months. And it includes getting the ISBN number and converting it to Kindle and iBook and Nook. And it includes publishing it, everything. 10 hours. Put up your hand if that's exciting to you. Yeah, okay. So let me tell you more about that program. When I want money, what do I do? I read another book. I read another book. It's as simple as that. Anytime I want more money, I read another book. If it only takes 10 hours, why not? And Stephanie mentioned it, but I'm just going to mention it again. The hugely successful For Dummies Empire, you know those glossy yellow ones, and here's mine. It's coming out next month, Branding Small Business for Dummies. When it comes out, I will be the only author in history who's ever done a chicken soup book and a For Dummies book. The only one ever. Wow. You might say, well, I'm never going to get there. Excuse me? At age 39, I didn't think I could live another day. I came from there to where I am now because I learned how to write books, not so that I make my money selling the book, but so that it brands me and my career skyrockets. If I earn $1 million in a speech, that's what $1 million, that's what an average person earns in a lifetime. I earned in 90 minutes what an average person earns in a lifetime because I write books the right way. So, would you like to write a book in 10 hours? Yes. Okay. You have a book inside of you? Let's get it out in 10 hours. It's time for change. It's time to cure invisibility. It's time to move up the ladder of wealth. It's time for transformational change in your life. It's time to write a book, even if you've written a book. It's time to write a book my way so that it ups your brand and ups your career. Okay, but you might say, I don't have time. Give it up. It's 10 hours. Come on. You might say, English is not my first language. For some reason, my most successful clients, English is not their first language. And I've taken care of the whole thing for people whose English is poor or whose spelling is poor, grammar is poor. That's already included in the 10 hours. But I've never written anything before. Now, this is something I've discovered. Listen carefully. Every single person, when they're writing their first book, every single person, when they're writing their first book, has never written a book before. I know. I mean, who would have guessed? But I don't know what to write about. I personally work with you to make sure that you write about the right topic. But I'm just an employee. You'll get raises, promotions, and job offers. Wow. But I'm just a real estate investor. You'll need estate agents, you'll need lenders, you'll need sellers, you'll need mortgage brokers, and they'll be attracted to you when you have the right book. But shouldn't I wait till I launch my business? This is the biggest, stupidest mistake. Listen carefully. When I say to people who are about to launch a business, they say, well, shouldn't I write a book in maybe 3 years when I know something? I say to them, oh, you want to struggle for 3 years and then make a lot of money. They say, well, I don't mean that. Yeah, that's what you mean. Because when you have a book, in fact, the most successful oyster bar in Toronto's about the same size as London. They're both major world cities. For one oyster bar to be the most famous in Toronto, like, an oyster bar is an oyster bar. They don't cook them. They just crack them open. So if there's two restaurants and one cracks open an oyster and the other cracks open an oyster, it's the same oyster. Like, how can one be a better oyster bar than another? It's the same stuff. He wrote the book on it. It's called Starfish. I don't know why it's called Starfish, but it's called Starfish. It's called Starfish. They're busy night and day. Night and day, round the clock. Every day of the year, they're jam-packed. There's always a lineup out the door. The guy wrote the book. His book is all over the whole place. People usually add it to their meal. Oh, throw in a book, throw in a few books. They buy their books, and they come because of it, and they give books as gifts. And he's written a book. He's written a book on oysters. On oysters? Like, what's there to say about an oyster? There are 92 kinds of oysters. Here's the list. Like, what are you going to say about oysters? These ones are small. These ones are fresh. These ones are tasty. What can you say? It's a boring book. I read it when I was waiting for my food. It's boring. But here the thing is, nobody reads it. They just get impressed. Nobody reads the book. They're just impressed. They come and they buy meals from him, and they don't read his book. They're just impressed that he wrote a book. It's oysters. Like, what's this? Anyways. But I don't know much. Yeah, well, you know more than your readers. In fact, one of my clients, a chiropractor, he bought my course, then he got cold feet, called me a month later, and he said, I'm frightened because I've just been out of chiropractic college for a year, and I know less than any other chiropractor in the world. Every other chiropractor knows more than me. Why should I be writing a book? I said, your clients are not other chiropractors. Your clients are people with back pain. Do you know more about back pain than people with back pain? Oh, yeah. Then shut up and write your book. Like, don't. You know more than other people about the thing that you choose to write about. And the people who actually know more than you, they're not your target audience. Your target audience is the people who know less than you. So instead of, gee, I don't think I know more than a lot of people, that's not the question to ask. The question is, are there people who know less than me? Yeah. Good, they're your audience. Just simple as that. But I don't like promoting myself. Good, the book will do it for you. You don't have to promote yourself. You just say you have a book and they get blown away. But don't I need to make money first? No, the book will make you money. When does it start? This is the best part. You can register for my course today, very powerful course, and you can start tonight if you want, or you can start as late as January 2013. But when you get in today, out of respect for Stephanie, I am going to offer this course at the lowest price that I've ever offered it at, ever. My lowest price ever, out of respect for being invited here. So you can register in a couple months, but I'm going to be doing a gigantic product launch, and I'm going to be offering this at £10,000. So you can wait for a couple months and do it then, but I'm offering a huge discount to Stephanie. This is the first authors conference I've ever been at. Usually, I teach at my own events, or I teach at other people's events. Like, I might be invited to a real estate conference, and I'll be speaking about writing a book on real estate. Or I teach at an internet marketing conference, and I teach how to write a book on internet marketing. This is the first authors boot camp I've ever, by coincidence, ever been at. And so I'm going to offer it at the lowest price ever just because you're my people. So is that okay? So register today, and then you can start whenever you wish. And I even offer a payment plan. So it's very, very easy to join. So the beauty is you can start whenever is convenient for you. How much does it cost? Well, that's the bad news. It costs as much of a small car. But I'll give you a payment plan. So my friends will laugh at me. Actually, they'll be dazzled. That's the truth. Your friends will be dazzled. So no excuses. It's your time. It's time for a change. It's time for your wealth. It's time for your legacy. And I want to tell you my legacy. My legacy is a 2-day workshop that I've created called Double Your Income Live. Double Your Income Live is a 2-day workshop that will completely blow you away. It's a workshop in which there is nothing offered for sale in the entire program of 2 days. It's a fulfillment workshop. That means I am on stage, me personally, teaching and teaching and teaching, no selling from the stage, teaching and teaching and teaching for 2 solid days. Pure education. Fulfillment only, no charge to attend, but only my clients can come. Put up your hand if you'd like to attend an event like that. That's my legacy. People come from all over the world to attend Double Your Income Live, and I hold it at places that I like to go to. Auckland, I just had my honeymoon in Auckland, so I like to go back. Orlando, Dubai, San Francisco. I just hold it in fun places that I like to go to. And even though you have to fly there, it's darn worth it. So that's my legacy. Now let's create yours. And here it is. The name of the program is 10-10-10. Write it down. 10-10-10. Your life has changed now that you have heard that name. 10-10-10. What does it stand for? You write a 10-chapter book in your own words. A 10-chapter book in your own words. You get it done in 10 hours of your own time, and you're handing it out to prospects or selling it in only 10 weeks. 10-10-10. 10 chapters, 10 hours, 10 weeks. The most powerful program ever designed to get you the up-branding and the wealth from writing the right kind of book. So how have books helped me? I have lots of residual income and lots of free time. Because of my books, I take a 1-week vacation every month. You see, when I work hard, I make money, and when I go on vacation, I make money. So I go on vacation. And those are the places I've been on vacation. I have 6 slides like this, but I've saved you, and I'm only showing one of them because they get boring. I've just been in about every gorgeous city in the world. I'd love it. Also, I do another thing which I think you'll love. I take a 1-month vacation every other year. 1-month vacation every other year. I spent a month in Australia. Oh my gosh, what a great country. I spent more than a month touring all the way around Europe. I spent a month doing a double crossing of the Sahara Desert by jeep and camel. I spent a month trekking around the Annapurna Mountains of Nepal. I just came back from a month honeymoon in New Zealand. I was in the Ecuadorian rainforest for a month, and I was whitewater canoeing up north. And this is not actually that far away from you, so I don't think you'll be that impressed. But I did sleep for an entire month on that beach in Fiji, and my best 1-month vacation of all time was Antarctica. What a glorious continent that is. And there I took the best picture I ever took in my life. You want to see it? Yeah. Good, because I brought it. Yes, I actually took my tuxedo to Antarctica, and here I am with a king penguin. Behind my head is not gravel. Behind my head is 150,000 king penguins. Yeah, I'm the one on the left. So do you want a life like I have? No debt, high income, very high wealth, gorgeous new home. Oh my gosh, 6,500 square feet. I don't know if you know what that means, but I can't convert it. Do you use feet or square meters? Do you use feet? Oh, good. 20-foot ceilings. Our front yard is a forest. Our backyard is a forest. Deer come up to our back window. I haven't seen one yet, but the estate agent said the deer come up to our back window. That's my life. And the investment for you to get in is a small car. If you can't afford it, you'd better join. If you don't have a few thousand quid to invest in yourself, then you better do something different, and this is the most powerful something different you're ever going to get offered. So there are 3 levels to the program. Let me tell you what the 3 levels are. Make sure you get this down so you choose wisely. The advanced level is the transactional level. The advanced level is the transactional level. It's the how-to level. And I'm not going to tell you the benefits of the advanced level. Listen carefully. I'm going to tell you the guarantees of the advanced level. Because if I tell you what I'm going to deliver, and I do kind of a reasonable job, yeah, that's good enough. No, not good enough for me. I'm not going to tell you the features or the benefits. I'm going to tell you the guarantees of the advanced level. And here they are. Guarantee number 1, I personally will work with you. I personally will work with you to make sure you have the perfect topic and the perfect title so that when you write your book or your next book, it's actually going to do something for you. Guarantee number 2, I'll tell you the perfect book length. Because right now, you don't know what the perfect book length is. If your book is too thin, you won't get the credibility. They'll think, it's just a brochure. And if it's too thick, nobody wants to read it. There's psychographically the exact right length, and I'll teach you what that is. Guarantee number 3, you will not get writer's block. That is a guarantee of my program. A guarantee. Who decides? You do. How does that work? If you get writer's block one night, you call me the next day and say, Raymond, I got writer's block. We refund your money in full. But that's crazy. It's an honor system. You mean anyone who calls you back and says, I got writer's block, they get their money back? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's like... So let me tell you. Out of the last 1,000 people who purchased this program, the total number of people who've asked for their money back is 0. Because I've created a way to write a book in 10 hours that bypasses writer's block. You don't just sit there and type, which is what you're thinking of right now. You do it in a way that you will not even believe. It's a completely different way of writing a book than you've ever thought of. Completely revolutionarily different. And guarantee number 4, you'll have a professional cover in 30 minutes completely free. A professional cover by a professional graphic artist will typically cost you about £2,000 and about 2 or 3 months of your time. And I will teach you how to do it in 30 minutes or less, absolutely for free, or you get your money back. But Raymond, you can't hire a professional graphic artist for free. And even if you could, it's not going to get done in 30 minutes. It is, or you get your money back. But it's impossible. I know. I know, but I do it. And guarantee number 5 is you'll have more authority before your book is even finished. Because I teach you exactly how to use your book before you even finish using it. Before you even finish. Those are the 5 guarantees of the advanced program. That's the transactional level of the program. Let me give you some examples of a perfect title. Al Bargan is a Canadian, and he's a fitness guy, and he is a fitness instructor. And he's come out with a 22-minute aerobics program that is so powerful that you burn so much fat, and his clients are only men, that men will look completely ripped, completely buff in eating whatever crap they want. So he calls me up and says, I need a great title. I said, everyone needs a great title. He said, well, look, you can eat whatever shit you want, and you look fabulous. So I said, okay, I got a title for you. I mean, wait till you see this. Cheeseburger abs. Cheeseburger abs. Eat what you want and look fabulous. How come there's no reaction? Do you know what cheeseburgers are? Have you heard of McDonald's? You know what? Forget that one. Okay, how about Jill Voss? Jill Voss is a woman. She lives in the United States, and she loves being single. She's gorgeous, but she loves being single. And society doesn't want her to be single. Come on, find a guy, settle down, get a house, have kids, come on. Everybody wants her to get married. She says, excuse me, I don't want to get married. I'm happy single. So she decides that she wants to give workshops like this to help single women who are happy to be single stay single. She says there's no one teaching that. Everyone's teaching how to find a guy. But she is teaching women who are single and who are enjoying being single how to enjoy being single. She says, Raymond, I need a title. I said, Jill, sit down. Here's the title I gave her. Jill Without Jack. Now, come on! Look at her, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous. As soon as that book came out, her course is filled up. She charges £500 for a course. She has 100 people in a course, £50,000, more than most Brits earn in 2 years. She earns in a weekend more than most Brits earn in 2 years. And she couldn't fill up her courses. She couldn't get anyone to enroll in her course until she wrote but the right kind of book. So, do I know how to help people get killer titles? Yeah, even if you didn't like the first one. Cheeseburger abs? So, maybe your burdens seem too heavy. You can go further with a book. You can go places you never, ever imagined you can go. You can turn the tables on adversity with a book. Now, if you thought the advanced program was huge, this is even huger. Huger is the platinum level. The platinum level is the mindset level. This is the one that changes your mindset so that you can allow the wealth to come in. Extremely important level. And it has 3 guarantees. You get all the 5 guarantees of the advanced level, plus you get 3 more. Guarantee number 6 is you learn from celebrity authors. I have video interviewed the most famous multiple celebrity authors in the entire world. And I asked them the same question. What was the benefit to you of your very first book? And you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. Some of them say, the first book I blew it because it was on that topic and it should have been on this topic, and you'll learn. Other people say, well, it was on exactly the right topic, and here's what happened to me. Here's the radio and television media that I got. It's amazing. You'll have a huge mindset adjustment from guarantee number 6. Guarantee number 7 is you can write as many books as you wish, having taken the course only once. You can reuse it over and over and over again. And finally, this one will knock you over. This is the most shocking guarantee of the platinum level. I personally will write the foreword for your book. Can you imagine on your book, foreword by Raymond Aaron, New York Times, top 10 best-selling author? Put up your hand if you'd like that. Yeah. That is a giant benefit of the platinum level. But this is the hugest. This is the transformational level. This is the one that everybody wants. This is the one that everybody chooses because this is the transformational level. That's how hugest it is. The Platinum Plus. The Platinum Plus has all of the guarantees of the Advanced and the Platinum, plus it has several more. Guarantee number 9, this is the most shocking thing. We're going to do it first. Every time I want to write a book, I call up my personal book architect. I say, Lori, I'm writing another book. She says, what do you need? I'll do anything you need. That's who she is. My personal book architect. If I say to her, I'm thinking of working on my title, and I'm going to get up at 6 in the morning, and I'm going to just ponder on my title. And she says, how long it'll take you? I said, 10 minutes, but I want to do it in complete silence. She said, good, I'll phone you at 5:59 a.m. to make sure you're in your chair, and at 6:15, I want you to send me an email with your title. I mean, she's ferocious. Now, she doesn't push me. She listens to what I want to do and makes sure I get done what I want to do. Hey, put up your hand if you understand the distinction. She doesn't push you. If you say, I'm taking the next month off, take the next month off. Do whatever you like. But when you say you're going to do something, she makes sure you do it. She makes sure you get done what you want to get done. She's my personal book architect. She just pushes me in any way that I ask her. Whatever I ask her to do, she does it. If I say, call me at 11 p.m., and ask me the following 3 questions, she'll call and ask me those questions. I say, oh my God, Lori's going to call at 11 o'clock. Okay, I got to get this done. And it's because of that I get my books done. Put up your hand if that would be a gigantic benefit to you. Yes, because you see, if you don't show up for work on Monday, somebody notices. But if you don't write another book on Monday, nobody notices. But Lori will. Guarantee number 9. And by the way, I've restricted her to take on only a certain number of people. And when she hits that maximum, I won't let her take on any more until a certain number of people have written their books so she can take on some more. And I've held off. I've used my other personal book architects so that I could hold her in reserve for you. You may be the last class that gets Lori until enough people write their books and we can refill. So this is it. This is it. Guarantee number 10. I will read your manuscript. I personally will read your manuscript to make sure that it's great. And then I'll reply to you and I'll say, you know, chapter 8's your best chapter. Why are you hiding it at the end of your book? It should be your first chapter. And by the way, chapters 2, 3, and 4, there's a lot of padding in there. Why don't you just condense that into one chapter? And why don't you have a chapter on this? And I really like that chapter. And this is a really good idea. You should expand it. And how about changing the title this way? I mean, I'll just go through your entire manuscript and make it better. Me personally, not an editor, not some guy I hire, not a coach. I personally will be the first person to read your book to make it better. Put up your hand if that's exciting to you. Absolutely. Let me make it better. Guarantee number 11. I will publish your book. You see, you might say, well, you know, maybe I'll get my book finished or maybe I won't. But even if I do, who the heck's going to publish it? I'll publish your book. That's transformational. Let me make it better. Guarantee number 12. I'll buy the first 25 copies of your book. Why? Why? Because I'm proud of you. I want to buy your book. I want to show people your book. Next time I come to London, I want to show your book. People say, oh, someone wrote a book on that? I want to read that. And I'll hand out your book. I'll promote you when I'm back in your town again. Is that exciting to you? Yeah, now listen to this. Hi, I'm writing a book. Wow. Hi, I'm writing a book. I've already got a publisher, and I've already pre-sold the first 25 copies. You decide which one you want to be. Can you feel how transformational that is? I've already got a publisher, and I've already pre-sold my first 25 copies. Wow. Guarantee number 13, I will do a marketing video for you. I won't do a marketing video for people for under 50,000 Canadian dollars. That's about, I don't know, 35,000 British pounds. And I'll include it at no charge for you. Whatever your topic is, whatever it is, I will come on and say, hello, Raymond Aaron, New York Times top 10 best-selling author. I've been teaching around the world for 29 years. But when it comes to the topic of, whatever is your topic, nutrition, real estate, whatever it is, then I always use your name. And then I'll boast about whatever it is that you want me to boast about. She is the greatest, or he is the best at, whatever you want me to say that I can say with integrity, that's what I'll be doing, looking straight into the camera. You can put it on your blog, you can put it on YouTube, put it on your website, put it on the back of your business card, that the URL of my video. I will boast about you, I personally, and I'll write the foreword for your book. Put up your hand if that's exciting to you. That's the platinum level of the program, and that's the transformational level of the program. So, how do you choose between advanced, platinum, and platinum plus? Well, let me help you. Whatever is the tuition for the advanced level, the platinum level is double that, and the platinum plus level is double that. So whatever the tuition is for the advanced, the platinum is 2 times that, and the platinum plus is 4 times that. But what is the benefit? Well, I'm not going to tell you the benefit. I'll tell you what my clients tell me. My clients tell me that the platinum level is worth 10 times the advanced, and the platinum plus is worth way more than 100 times the advanced. 100 times. That's why over 90% of people choose platinum plus. If you can't afford it, that's fine, but over 90% have chosen platinum plus so far. So all you need to know now is how much the advanced program costs. Is that correct? Okay, good. Now let's go on to something else. Let me tell you the very hugest benefit. The very huge whatsoever. There's no risk whatsoever because I actually hand you an ironclad guarantee. When you register, you get an ironclad guarantee that shows the advanced level, the platinum level, and the platinum plus level, and it delineates every single one of the guarantees. If I screw up on one of them, not all 15, one of them, you get all your money back. 15, you only said 13. I know. There's 2 more guarantees I'm not even telling you about. Why? So I can always over-deliver. Why? So you can say wow about me. Why? So my brand will go up and I'll get richer. That's all I do. I keep increasing my brand, I make money. What you do is you try to get money. When you try to get money, you don't get it. When you try to increase your brand, money comes in on its own. Put up your hand if you want a guarantee that the program will work for you. It's a guarantee in writing. Perfect. And if I miss on one, you get all of your money back, even on one of them. If I'm perfect on 14 of them and screw up on one, you get all your money back. If you phone me and say, I got writer's block, get all your money back. You have nothing at all to lose. But have you tried things in the past and it didn't always work out for you? Not this time. The 10-10-10 actually works. If you're still sitting there wondering, here is the best news of all. It is time for a change. You will cure invisibility. You will rise up the level of wealth. You will create wows. You will have transformational change in your life. You will attend Double Your Income Live. I will give you 2 tickets at no charge when you register for my 10-10-10 program. And where am I holding it? Well, you'll be happy to know, in fact, you'll be overjoyed to know that I'm holding it this month right here in London. Yes, right here in London. Very limited number of people allowed into the program. I'm holding it the last weekend of this month, June 30th, July 1st. I'm coming back to do it for you, at least for the ones of you in here who register for my program. You do get a 100% ironclad guarantee, and let me give you proof that what I say is true. Proof. Leisha West. Leisha West lives in the United States. She was sitting exactly where you are. She puts her hand up and says, I don't want to make money. So, okay, you're the first person on earth. She says, no, I have a nice salary. I don't want to make any money. I'm not an entrepreneur, not interested in that. But, I got sued, and I want other people to not get sued. Can I write a book, if not even just to make money, just to help other people? I said, yeah, you can. I said, but be careful, because you're going to make money. I don't want to. It's going to come to you anyways. I don't want it. I said, remember the story I told in the airplane? Money's going to come to you. She said, I don't need it. I'm fine. Okay. Here's what happened to her. One day, knock on the door, she opens it, and a guy touches her with a piece of paper, meaning she got sued. She opens it up, and some guy's suing her for $250,000 US, $250,000 US, because she sold him a defective product. She said, I don't sell products. I'm an employee. I don't sell products. She goes to her lawyer, finds out that somebody hacked into her computer, sent out 1 million cell messages. Some guy bought one. It is defective and sued her because it came from her computer. She's now under a lawsuit. She's paying a fortune in legal fees to defend herself against something she didn't even do. And she wants to help other people. She said, Raymond, what should I call my book? I said, Scary Internet Lawsuits. She said, oh, that's good. Now, why is she writing the book? She doesn't want to make money. She just wants to help other people. 10-10-10 is amazing. My book, Scary Internet Lawsuits, is nearly finished. I'm not even close to taking 10 hours. And I've already been asked to be interviewed on CNBC on Friday, March 23rd, 2012. This testimonial is just a couple months old. She called me in mid-March and said, I'm just about to be interviewed on CNBC. CNBC and CNN are the two largest news networks in the entire world. And she is the internet lawsuit expert for CNBC because she's writing a book. She doesn't know anything. She has been sued once. Here's all she knows. Before you go to bed, shut your computer. That's all she knows. She said, Raymond, he says, you won't believe what's happening in my life. I said, you're making money. Yes! But I thought you didn't want to. It's just coming in. I know. I said, tell me your story. You won't believe this. She said she goes on CNBC. Now when you Google Leisha West, CNBC and internet lawsuits come up. She is now the internet lawsuit expert for hundreds of media around the world. She gets called constantly for her advice. She says, so many people called and said, what do you have to sell me? That she said, why don't you take my weekend workshop? She charges £1,000. She had 100 people in her first workshop. £100,000. She called me the day before and she said, Raymond, I'm scared silly. I've never spoken in front of more than 4 people in my life. She said, even worse, 7 people who've registered are lawyers. They know stuff. I don't know anything. I said, Leisha, what are you going to fill the 2 days with? I only know one thing. I said, I know. Shut your computer before you go to sleep. How are you going to stretch that out to 2 weeks? She says, well, you wouldn't believe it. People from all over the world have been emailing me and telling me about the internet lawsuits that they've been served with. Well, each one, I'm going to talk about it, and that's going to take time, and that's what I'm going to do. I said, okay, good. I hope you get away with it. Anyways, at the end of the weekend, she got the most dazzling review. They're the best workshop I ever attended in my life. And the 7 lawyers thanked her and asked if she had an advanced course. And I said, what did the lawyers learn from you? And she said, they told me that they didn't know there were so many internet lawsuits. And they were taking notes on all the different kinds of lawsuits. It fascinated them. They learned so much. She called me just recently and said, Raymond, I learned something from the books, The Hunger Games. I said, what? She said, I should have a trilogy. A trilogy? Yeah. She says, I don't even need your help. I've already got the names of my next 2 books of the trilogy. I said, what are they? Scarier Internet Lawsuits and Scariest Internet Lawsuits. She says, I keep getting all these emails from people all over the world of all the lawsuits they're getting. That's another chapter in my book. I got enough for 3 books. I didn't want to make any money. It just came to me. Wow. Well, look at this. You already bought my program? All right. Good man. Good man. Okay, let me give you another bonus. It starts when you want. You can start tonight. You can start in January. You can start whenever you want. You just have to get into it today. Remember, the Platinum is worth 10 times the Advanced, and the Platinum Plus is worth 100 times the Advanced. Which one did you get? Platinum Plus. You're the man. You're the man. Well done. Well done. So let me give you a giant discount. Is that okay? Giant discount? The giant discount for this group is 787 British pounds for the Advanced, double that for Platinum, and quadruple that for Platinum Plus. And now, let me tell you what I'm going to do for you. That's what I actually came to offer, but that's not what you paid. And that's not what you're going to have to pay. I'm going to give you a double discount. And here it is. This is the lowest I will ever offer it at, ever. If you ever hear me offering it lower, ever, you get it for free. And here it is. This is the gigantic double discount that I'm offering, only $487. Only $487, double that for Platinum, and quadruple that for Platinum Plus. The lowest you will ever get. Do I have to decide today? Oh, please don't. You can pay 10,000 pounds in just 2 months when the giant product launch comes out. So let me make it better. How about another Platinum Plus bonus? Is when you register for my program, you get an autographed copy of my book. I will personally autograph it with your name right here today. That's another bonus, because the examples, when I teach you, you can actually look in this book and see how I did it right here in this book. And let me give you a final bonus. You're going to love this. The final bonus is it's only $487 today. What does that mean? It's only $487 today. For the Advanced, it's only $487. For the Platinum, it's only $487 today and another easy installment in a month. And for Platinum Plus, it's only $487 today, plus 3 more monthly installments of $487. So whichever one you want, it's only $487 today. That's all it is today, only $487. Let me make it better again. This is another gigantic bonus, which I may never, ever offer again in the UK. Wait till you see this. I'll pay the VAT. Wow. That saves you another 20%. Okay, I've never done that. So what you get is free tickets to the amazing Double Your Income Live workshop this month right here in London. You get my book. You get a guarantee, 15 guarantees, and it's only $487 today. The back of the room is jammed. Get to it right now. Thank you very much. If this is the best talk you ever heard in your life, applaud wildly. Look at all the people who have already bought. Holy mackerel. Oh my gosh. Holy mackerel. You already bought while I was talking? 1, 2, 3, the whole front row. Oh, look at this. Holy mackerel. Unbelievable. Whoa, get to the back. I personally will autograph it. Now, if you're sitting down, then you're either thinking about joining or waiting for the line to die down or decided you don't want to do it. That's okay. I still love you. You can pay 10,000 pounds in 2 months. This is the lunch break. You have an important decision to make. You can get rich or pee.
Or both.
Okay, what is your name?
Maite.
M-A-I-T-E. And I will personally autograph your book at the Platinum Plus level. I've never been to a workshop in which 7 people bought the Platinum Plus program before I even finished talking. I've never. I love Britain.
You're too young. You're too young to see this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Keith. Thank you, Keith, and thanks for having the wisdom to take the Platinum Plus. It's the best level. It's worth 100 times.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Oh, wow. What's your name? Wendy. Oh, I love everyone called Wendy because my chief operating officer is named Wendy. She joined me when she was 22 years old. She's turning 40 next week. She's been with me for 18 years, the only job she's ever had in her life. And she's wonderful. So I'll never forget you. Okay, your name?
Glenn.
Glenn, G-L-E,
2 N's.
G-L-E-N-N. Okay. At the Platinum Plus level, as soon as you get your receipt, bring me your book.